All right, let's dive in. The title alone is pretty captivating today. We're exploring the Veda, often called the Black Veda. And the immediate question, the hook, really is, why would a sacred text get a name like black or dark? And maybe more interestingly, how did this supposedly messy version become the dominant living Veda for millions today?
That's the core puzzle, isn't it? And just to be clear up front, that branding black versus white, it's really about structure, not about, good versus evil or anything like that. Our mission here is to look at the split, the structural difference between the Kṛṣṇa Veda and its counterpart, the Sukla or white Yajurveda. Think textual architecture, not moral judgment.
Okay, structure. Before we jump into the origin stories and myths, let's nail down that architectural difference. So Sukla Veda versus Kṛṣṇa Veda. How are they actually different in layout?
Right. So the Sukla Veda is often described as well arranged. Think of it like a modern textbook or maybe a Blu-ray disc. You have the main content, the mantras, what you're supposed to say in the ritual in one distinct section, like the Vajrasani Samhita. And then completely separate, you have the commentary, the Brahmans explaining why you say it, the symbolism, the background, like the Satapatha Brahmana, clear separation.
Okay, main feature and then special features on the side. Got it. So the Veda must be the opposite then. I think I've heard it called khichdi, that mixed rice and lentil dish.
Exactly. That's a perfect analogy. The Veda is unarranged, or perhaps better, integrated. It's motley. The mantras and the Brahman commentary are interwoven, presented together in a single continuous stream. You get the ritual instruction and bam, right there, the explanation follows immediately.
Ah, okay. So it's less like a Blu-ray and more like, maybe like an avant-garde film where the director's commentary track keeps interrupting the movie itself to explain things as they happen.
That's a great way to put it. That constant interplay, that interruption, if you like, is key. And it leads us straight into that very memorable origin myth you mentioned earlier.
The vomiting one.
The very same. The story goes that the great sage Yajnavalkya, after a pretty serious falling out with his teacher, was forced to, well, literally vomit out the Veda he had learned. And then other disciples, wanting that knowledge, transformed themselves into Tittiri birds, partridges, and consumed this dark, digested, maybe even polluted knowledge.
Wow. Okay, that's vivid. But hang on, you mentioned earlier this might have been branding, so this wasn't necessarily believed as literal history.
Almost certainly not literal history in that sense. It's widely seen now as a polemic, a bit of, ancient marketing spin, probably from the proponents of the newer Sukla school. They were essentially branding their own clean, separated text as superior, purer, compared to this older, supposedly digested or polluted, interwoven version.
Right, painting the competition as regurgitated leftovers. Clever, if a bit gross. But here's the kicker then. If the Sukla school had this powerful negative branding, why did the Kṛṣṇa Veda, the messy one, not only survive but actually thrive? Why is it dominant today?
Because that messiness, that interwoven structure, turned out to be its greatest strength. It was actually a superior cognitive technology for what it needed to do. Oral transmission and real-time ritual performance.
How so?
Think about it. If you're a priest performing a long, complex ritual entirely from memory, under pressure, having the what to say mantra and the why you say it, Brahmaṇa, inextricably linked in your mind, learned as one single flow, that's incredibly practical. It's like a built-in, just-in-time system for recall. It makes the whole process much more robust, less prone to error than having to mentally cross-reference two separate bodies of knowledge. The Sukla separation might look cleaner on paper, but the Kṛṣṇa integration was arguably better for the actual job.
That makes perfect sense. The practicality trumped the clean organization. And that explains its staying power, especially, as you said, across South India, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka. It's very much a living tradition there.
Precisely. And it's not just about the ritual text itself. The main recension we have today, the Tittiri Samhita, is part of a complete spiritual package deal, you could say. It includes the Tittiriya Arjyaka and, critically, the Tittiriya Upanad, one of the major philosophical texts of Hinduism. They're all part of the same corpus.
So the philosophy isn't separate either. It's embedded within this whole ritual and commentary structure.
Exactly. The deep philosophical insights are intrinsically linked to the ritual context they grew out of. This means that major institutions dedicated to preserving Vedic knowledge, like the famous Sringeri Kanchi, have a strong incentive to preserve the entire Kṛṣṇa Yajurveda system. To keep the philosophical heart, you need to keep the whole body.
And you see this in practice.
Absolutely. Take a very famous example, the Śrī Rudram Chamakam. Millions chant this powerful hymn to Shiva worldwide. Many might think it's a standalone text, but it's not. It's actually located right inside the Tittiri Samhita, specifically in sections 4.5 and 4.7. It's a living piece of this messy, integrated Veda, chanted daily.
That really brings it home. So to sum up, the Yajurveda, the Black Veda, wasn't messy because it was sloppy. Its interwoven structure was actually a highly sophisticated design, perfectly suited for oral transmission and performance.
It was integrated technology. And the final thought maybe to leave listeners with is this irony. The very Veda that its rivals labeled as polluted or digested proved, in the long run, to be the more resilient, the more practical, the more complete system for preserving both ritual action and philosophical meaning together. That motley structure is precisely why it's arguably the most widely practiced Veda today.